Hello everyone, good morning. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear, and after that we can start. Thank you everyone. So here you go. I'm looking at NASDAQ and I'm on 3-minute and 5-minute chart here. And we had a beautiful delivery at 8:30, right? You guys watched it. This delivery was really aggressive. And because of the news, I guess, yeah. So price delivered beautifully, cleared out some relative equal lows right here. And our drawn liquidity is below the swing low, as you guys can see, but I think a reversal from this point is possible, so I'm gonna wait and see how price does that. And if I drop to the higher time frame, if I explain the big sharp drop towards sell side liquidity, then I'll have to take you guys to the 4-hour chart. Like the main reason behind this drop is this order block and news. But when I talk about the concept, I'll have to mention this order block here. I don't know if you can see it, but here's order block on 4-hour chart. And if you measure it, mean threshold of this order block is right here. Price came all the way up here at like 20 yesterday and dropped. Today, the same thing, price generated relative equal highs above and 8:30. Exactly at 8:30, price hit the mean threshold again. On lower time frame, it cleared out the relative equal highs and then a sharp drop towards sell side liquidity. Price also generated a breaker block. Okay, so the main reason behind this drop is this order block. Price is respecting this order block beautifully. So what can be our draw on liquidity, right? For that, I'll have to drop down to the lower time frame. I think a revisit of this fair value gap, of this big fair value gap that you see, is very much possible. But price don't need to come all the way down here to make us profitable, as you know, right? Even if price is like just dropping anywhere near, like suppose these are order blocks, bullish order blocks. So if I measure these order blocks, the mean threshold of this order block is right here. That's what I'm gonna count as a draw on liquidity, like the low hanging fruit. Okay, things are looking nice now. I'm gonna drop down to 1 hour, and as you can see, we have our sell side liquidity right here. We have a SMT below these lows right now, so this is something to watch. Price is going back to the discount, and I think a drop is possible. I'm bearish, and I think that 9:30 delivery will be bearish because of these lows staying intact. And if you look at Dow, you will see SMT there. Dow made a lower low and NQ failed to do that. So there's the SMT, and the movement that you are seeing right now is because of that. And price is just reaching back to the discount. It will drop again. So the thing is like to watch if it's dropping inside of our macro or not, or the delivery is late, like suppose at 9:50 to 10:10 macro. So that's what I'm interested to watch. I'm open to trading today in my live funds. Everything's looking very good, and the price action is quite nice, right? So yeah, this is a fair value gap here, and this fair value gap failed, right? That's a BC, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. And on 5-minute chart, if you look close, then this same BC is now working as an inversion right now. Okay, but this inversion is not enough for me to push a button because it's in discount, it's not in premium. And my ideal sell setup will form if price is reaching all the way up to the premium level. Okay, like suppose there's an inversion that I see, couple of order blocks, right? But if it's good, like if price revisiting this inversion, then I can push the button confidently. I'm not gonna do it from this fair value gap. If suppose a breaker block is forming right here inside 920 to 930, then I'm interested to take it, but otherwise no. And it's a very clean draw on liquidity, these relative equal lows that you can see right here. And after that, once price clears this level out, suppose price did it before 930, okay, then we can target this level right here. If price presents us signs that it wanna revisit this mean threshold from the 4-hour chart, from a 4-hour order blocks, these order blocks. Okay, so I measured the 4-hour order block, the mean threshold is right here, and as you can see, there's an inversion where price can stop, and that's a very nice target in my eyes. So we'll just have to wait for a clean setup to present itself. Everything is aligned, we just need time to match and the setup to present itself. And the inversion is working very nicely, as you can see, right? This is hourly failed fair value gap, a small little fair value gap, but look at the lower time frame. There's nothing on lower time frame other than this order block. But what price is doing right here is respecting higher time frame inversion. So I get a lot of questions like how you trade using higher time frame. That's how I do it. Okay, I marked the PD array, strong PD array with high probability from the higher time frame. Okay, and then I drop down to the lower time frame, and I wait for price to retest these zones. Okay, what do I mean by this zone? Like this inversion, what price is doing right here, it's just retesting it. And when you drop down to lower time frame and you look at these levels, like there's an inversion, and you will find like fair value gap or order block inside of these zones, inside of this inversion level. So inversion is very powerful. Like if you guys saw my template that I made about ranking fair value gaps, you will see that I put inversion in second, and the first one that I see, one of the strongest fair value gap PD array, is BPR. And then on the third position comes your unfilled fair value gap, the normal one. And as you can see from the live chart example, it's a very, very nice example of inversion, and price is very nicely respecting it. So on 50-minute chart, the same thing, drawn liquidity is here. The question is like, where can price go after it provides liquidity down here, right? As I told you guys, the drawn liquidity after price clears out the swing low can be below this low. And what I believe is like revisit of these mean thresholds are very much possible. So now let's wait and see what price does. And one thing to keep in mind is that like this 830 delivery was really aggressive. And if I drop down to like 3-minute chart, right, there's not many fair value gap that we can see, but I'm expecting to see price revisiting at least to discount before dropping sharp, or like suppose going above these buy side liquidity that are resting on lower time frame. So let's see what happens, and that's the whole view from my side on NASDAQ. I'm bearish until the things changes, like suppose price is aggressively hitting this mean threshold, then I'll look for like setup that can hunt buy side liquidity, because as you can see, if price is delivering aggressively, it will generate a lot of unfilled fair value gap and inefficiencies towards buy side liquidity, and we can target that. Okay, but if price is delivering slowly, then at 930 we can hope to see price revisiting this mean threshold from 4-hour chart. So this is it on NASDAQ. Now I'm gonna be talking about Dow. And as you can see, this is the SMT that I was talking about. It was a very beautiful, very aggressive delivery, to be honest. As you can see on Dow, it was really aggressive as price left all of these fair value gap. And there's the SMT with other indices. Dow made a lower low where NQ failed to do that. Do you guys see that? These lows, and after this SMT got generated, the price like went all the way up and cleared out the buy side liquidity. No, some folks like think things like that, like whenever they see SMT they will target the major level of sell side liquidity. No, when you see SMT, the low hanging fruit can be the nearest drawn liquidity, and the nearest draw on liquidity was this inversion fair value gap, right? From the hourly chart on NASDAQ, price generated, if you look closely at this candle, price generated SMT, then it went all the way up, hit this inversion level, and then it's dropping down very hard. So I think a reversal, a small little reversal towards the discount is very much possible now that they're moving together. Look at Dow and NASDAQ, they're moving together. So I think it's possible for us to expect to see a revisit anywhere inside these levels here. And there's our new week opening gap, what price is revisiting right now. And very nicely price got rejected from the consequent encroachment of this new week opening gap. But let's see if price is like respecting it. Suppose price came all the way down again and cleared out this low, and now it's reversing again. So we can use this new week opening gap to look for trade ideas inside of our macro. So let's see what happens. Okay, on Dow, price generated relative equal highs here, but I don't think like price will revisit it today, right? But we will watch. We have relative equal lows down here. Price was like aggressively generating and engineering buy side liquidity yesterday, so the delivery was aggressive towards buy side liquidity, and price is now inefficient towards sell side liquidity. So now let's see which pair is like providing us a better setup to take. We have relative equal lows down here, so below it we have a fair value gap. So let's see what price does. If price is providing us a bearish setup, then we can easily target this level right here, or these relative equal lows right here. So I'm just gonna put NQ here, and if I see any setup on Dow, I'll not forget to mention about it. But yeah, let's focus on NQ. I don't see any equal highs towards buy side liquidity in this fractal. Otherwise, it would have been easy for me to decide like where price can navigate towards. At 9:30 delivery, okay, I'm an equal high and low trader, and that gives me confidence in my trade to execute if I see like relative equal highs and lows. So let's wait and let's see like where price is generating strong level of liquidity. Price now provided a major level of sell side liquidity. So after price does that, a sell program, market maker sell program gets done. It like price tends to like revisit the discount level before continuing this trend. The trend is bearish right here, and I'm not saying like I'm bullish, I'm bearish too, but let's see what happens. Our mean threshold is staying here, and price is inside of the 4-hour order blocks. Yeah, I'm expecting to see a delivery from these order blocks. It would have been nice, like suppose if there was any fair value gap right next to these order blocks, but on higher time frame I don't see. On 4-hour I don't see any fair value gap here. Let's see on 1 hour. Yeah, nothing on 1 hour. Everything seems like price rebalanced to these levels. Other than this inversion, there's no fair value gap here, even on 1 hour chart. So why am I looking for fair value gap here? Okay, that can be a very nice question, because whenever you see order block coming with fair value gap, that makes those order block plus fair value gap a unicorn setup, okay? But there's no fair value gap, and that's what I was looking for, a unicorn setup for a reversal towards buy side liquidity, towards discount. But I don't see anything other than this inversion. So let's wait and see like what price is respecting, the main threshold or this inversion. But anywhere, like this is gonna be our last line of defense. If price is not respecting this level and it's delivering aggressively, then this low can be our target, this fair value gap right here. It's 9:18. I prefer to wait a little bit more. Yeah, so 8:30, the move for the newbies. I'm gonna talk about the breaker that formed like inside our 8:20 to 8:30 macro. It wasn't a trade for you to take because of the high impact news. You should not be pushing button in high impact news. Okay, you don't have the experience to do that. I personally don't, but it was a very nice setup. And always remember, folks, a setup will always be there. Don't look at a setup, a clean setup, and think like, oh, what the fuck, I missed it. Don't think like that. Okay, a same setup, a same unicorn model will always repeat. So as you can see, we had a couple of relative equal highs here. This candle went towards buy side liquidity at exactly at 8:30. Okay, this New York liquidity run that happens, it happens every fucking day. Okay, that's why I named it a macro 8:20 to 8:30. You will see a market reversal pattern inside this time period. And what do you see? Price came all the way up, generated these relative equal highs, but when did price cleared it out? Look at the time, exactly at 8:30 inside of our macro. What's the timetable for macro? 8:20 to 8:30, and if we don't see a setup forming in between that, then we extend the time by 5 minutes. So it's like 8:20 to 8:35, and this candle went below the breaker block, right? This candle is lowest. You can ask me like, why am I not considering these down close candles a breaker block? Because you should consider only the lowest down close candles as your breaker block. And which one is the lowest here? This one, which went below this candle, right? So this is the breaker block here. When did price activated this breaker block? 8:33. Okay, I was watching it. It was a very nice setup, but I didn't push the button. And as you can see, price generated breaker block, closed below this breaker block, got activated inside of our macro. You executed the second candle. If you wait, and you will find like price generated a volume imbalance before dropping. So this was a very nice setup, a unique setup, to be honest. Very rarely I do see like a volume imbalance like this inside of breaker block. So this was something like new for me to watch. This volume imbalance that price respected aligned with breaker block. So what I learned today is like, if there's an order block, like fair value gap, a failed fair value gap, a order block, or any other PDR inside of a breaker block, that makes a breaker block unicorn. But a fair value gap is like the highest high probability unicorn. But as you can see, price generated volume imbalance, and that was a very beautiful delivery. Your entry could have been here, targeting these relative equal lows. That's a very nice trade. You can put your stop loss above here, above the midway or the upper quadrant if you want to be a little bit more safe. Target 2R, easy 2R. Okay, if a breaker block setup is forming and your narrative is right, 2R, it's easy. Look at that. Every single time I'll talk about a breaker block, you'll see me getting a partial, or like it's hitting my TP aggressively. That's what happens in a breaker block. Okay, the delivery is expected aggressive from a breaker block. Once a breaker block gets activated, you don't want to see price getting into high resistance liquidity run, rather remaining in low resistance liquidity run like this. So as you can see, a small reversal is happening, but I still prefer to wait. It's 9:22 and there's no breaker block that I see. 1 minute. Okay, so on 1 minute there was a breaker block, but it wasn't inside of our macro. And is it like hitting this breaker block again? Okay, so I do see a breaker block and we are inside of our macro, and we have a small little fair value gap which can give me an entry, and I don't really see any equal highs that price can reach towards. Okay, so I think it's a very nice point to execute on. But yeah, our last line of defense in this setup can be this fair value gap here. So now let's see where we can target. Okay, if we cannot get a 2R target from this trade, I will not take it. I'll look for any relative equal lows, and look at that, I found it. Relative equal lows down here, that's what I can target. and the relative equal lows are at 15,098, which is I think a very good level, but I'll make it to even 15,100. That's what I think. But it will not give us 2 hour. What the hell? It will just give a partial, right? So this level seems to me as a good place for partial. And this fair value gap, I need more. And this low, can we target this low? Yeah, let's wait. I found my targets, this low right here, these relative equal lows. And now let's wait and see, like, if price gives us an entry, any revisit inside this fair value gap will lead us to an entry. And if price is generating relative equal lows right here, that's good for us, okay? That will be a sign from price that it wanna revisit this level again. If price is generating relative equal lows, so I'm gonna wait and see what price does. If price is revisiting this fair value gap, I'll push the button. But if not, I'll just watch. And we know our draw on liquidity is mean threshold, so I think we can hold our trade if price gives us an entry. So now let's wait for the entry to happen. Or maybe not. Maybe price won't give us the entry because look at that, there's a fair value gap on 3-minute chart, right? I'm not gonna be someone who will push the button early, okay? I don't care about a setup. Trust me, I don't. This same setup, folks, I'm bored to see this kind of setup. Every single day it happens. Okay, fair value gap, breaker block, it will happen. It will keep repeating. So to me, it doesn't matter, to be honest, if price is just like hitting my targets without giving me an entry. But I prefer to wait. I'm a patient guy. So price generated very clean levels right here, and it looks good to me. Relative equal lows and a small little breaker block. I think if you drop down to the second chart, you will find a breaker block right here. Higher high, new higher high, candle lower right next to it, so a swing, and this candle went higher. There's a breaker block, small little breaker block, and price is revisiting it. I think on lower time frame, like on second chart, you will see it. But I never like traded on second chart. Did anyone trade it on second chart? I never looked at that second chart, to be honest. Okay, so someone is asking, why am I not only considering this one candle as breaker block, right? Because of the mean threshold, okay? Because if I mark the whole fractal, yes, it's a breaker block, all of this down close candle. And if you measure this down close candle, where will be the midway? Midway will be right here, and that's where price should not revisit. Okay, why should not price revisit to these levels, HYDRA? Because of a fair value gap right here, and there's another fair value gap right here. Okay, so I don't want to see price revisiting the mean threshold of this breaker block, and that's the reason I only marked this one down close candle. Suppose there was like small down close candles, then I would have like picked 2 or 3, but it's a one big consecutive down close candle. That's the reason I'm only marking one, and I want to see price respecting this fair value gap and then this one. And I don't like it, to be honest, this setup that is for, like, I will not push the button right here, okay, in this fair value gap, because I don't see any relative equal lows. I told you guys that I want to see price generating relative equal lows right here. That can be worked as extra confidence in my trade, but I don't see it. So I'm willing to miss this setup, and I gave you like 2 levels, 15,100, and price is revisiting, and we already know that this mean threshold is quite sexy for price to revisit, okay? $9.27, 3 minutes before the volatility comes in. On Dow, I don't see any setup. Do you guys see any setup on Dow? I don't. I see price generating buy side liquidity on Dow, like relative equal highs. I think a better trade opportunity is on Dow. But anyway, I don't see any breaker block to trade from on Dow, so I'll just let it go. Prava, would you be like not be lazy and like if you check out my YouTube channel, there's videos that I made about breaker block, couple of them. Then reclaimed order block, then inversion, all I ever use. I made a video about that. So without asking in the chat like where can you talk about breaker block separately? No, I don't want to. I already did that a couple of times. Go back and watch those videos, okay? It's just there, okay? Video section. Why I don't know why are you guys so fucking lazy? It's there, okay? If you just click one button on your YouTube channel, it will be there. And it's there. I made it. So why aren't you just watching it before asking me? So there's no SMT with Dow or any other pair. It's just that Dow made like buy side liquidity. That's what I'm watching, these levels. Trend line liquidity on 1 minute chart, that makes a lot more sense. As you can see, so 929. Let's see price revisit this fair value gap. I'm gonna push the button on demo and this setup. I'm not gonna take it on my live funds as I don't feel that much confidence to take it. I don't see relative equal lows. Okay, so look at the delivery on Dow and this pair NASDAQ. Right, suddenly they are moving opposite to each other. And that makes it like a low probability condition. Like look at this, price generated relative equal highs on Dow, right? So I was expecting to see Dow reaching for buy side liquidity. That would have made sense for me. Like NASDAQ is doing the same thing, like the opposite thing. So let's wait. We know that price can drop from this fair value gap. So let's see if price is doing that. And yeah, very nice drop from this fair value gap until here. So do you guys see what I meant by the low probability condition? Look at that. My stop loss could have been here, right? Price reached all the way up there. The spread will like take me out, even if I'm using the best broker in the world. If I put my stop loss here and price is reaching all the way up here, the spread will take me out easily. Robert, you can cancel the membership. Very less that I care, and yeah, it will be there for YouTube. Very nice delivery, okay? Like I was expecting to see this delivery, and I told you guys that this level 15100 is possible for price to revisit, then this one. And I also told you the logic, like why price should revisit these levels, and then the mean threshold of this order block, right? That's a very beautiful delivery from this breaker, to be honest, guys. Like look at that. That's a very unicorn setup, and I told you guys that's the last line of defense. Again, do you guys see how price respected my commentary? It doesn't matter if we push the button or not, but look at that, how price is respecting my analysis. That's what I like, okay? This setup will keep repeating Monday, next week, the day after that. So why should I worry about missing a setup? I'm not worrying about that. I'm happy to see that what I analyzed, price respected it to the fucking tick. And I know some of you push the button here. You guys are like aggressive, but trust me, if you are like aggressive trader and like if you are not respecting your rules, like in what conditions you should be engaging, you won't go very far in this industry, and that's the very fucking truth. Look at the fucking thing here. I literally told you guys everything, okay? I predicted the price action, 9:30 delivery. The actual fucking Judas. People trade the Judas swing, okay? They wait for 9:30 to deliver the Judas and they engage after that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, I take part in the actual Judas. The actual 9:30 New York Stock Exchange opening, HYDRA predicted it to the tick where price will stop, from where it can reverse. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Anyway, price revisited this fair value gap again. Yeah, Maria, me too. Like, as soon as I saw they both are moving opposite to each other, I was sure, like, I'm not gonna be pushing button because they were moving together, okay? And before the 9:30 delivery, I was expecting to see Dow clearing out buy side liquidity. As you guys saw, like this, I'm talking about these liquidity levels right here. These relative equal highs, trend line liquidity. I was expecting to see Dow moving towards the buy side and NASDAQ moving towards the sell side. But what happened, like Dow moved towards the sell side and NASDAQ towards the buy side. That made this setup a low probability to me. And that's the reason I didn't push the button. But price respected our analysis to the fucking tick. Look at that. Okay, that's how it works, folks. Like, if you worry about setup, a setup will be very hard for you to find out. Look at me. I never worry about a fucking setup. And a setup is always presenting itself in front of me. Okay, that's what happens. So that's an inversion. This is going to be our last line of defense to expect lower prices. If this inversion is failing, we can use these down close candles as a reclaimed order block. I'm not going to be pushing the button right now. Our macro is over. 9:20 to 9:35. That's the time period that our macro is working. But now let's wait. Okay, we still have another macro, 9:50 to 10:10. I'm gonna be here today. I'm gonna be tape reading the silver bullet. So let's see like what price can do. Generated relative equal highs here, and we have a breaker block right here. Okay, lower low, new lower lows that reach towards the discount zones. So all of these up close candle that is coming with a fair value gap right here. So something nice to tape read. Do you guys see it? This bullish or a breaker block. Before I mentioned about it, did you saw it? That's the question that you should be asking yourself. Fair value gap, unicorn. Okay, now let's wait and see if price respects this fair value gap. It's not inside of my macro, so I'm not gonna be pushing button, but I want to see if price respect it. We have relative equal highs here, so a revisit of these relative equal highs is very much possible. All of these down close candles, and nice, price respected this breaker again, right? It's moving towards the buy side. Now let's wait and see if price is closing its body above this breaker again or not. Do you feel emotional that you are missing these setups? If you are feeling emotional, you should know that you are still a noob. Okay, you are not a fucking trader yet. The trader you wanna be, the professional trader. Because there are rules, okay, folks. Like, it's not a high probability setup for me to push the button. Even that I see this fair value gap, I'm still gonna wait for my macro to start. Yeah, that's what I tell you guys always. Like, don't look at it just a pattern. Okay, am I looking at it just a pattern? Am I considering, like, am I only watching out for a pattern? No, I'm building a narrative here. That's what I did. Okay, before the 9:30 delivery, I took you guys in the higher time frame. I marked the levels in higher time frame where price can stop and revisit, right? And as you can see, narrative was the first thing in front of me. Okay, price revisited these levels, and before it did, I told you guys that it can a good reversal point would be from this mean threshold of 4-hour order blocks, right? So I know that price can reverse from there. So what am I doing? I'm building a clean narrative, and price is respecting it. and I marked this breaker block because of that my narrative supports me. I already know that price can reverse from here. Price went up, generated equal highs. Now it reached for the discount level. And if still price is consolidating inside here and it's like near to 950 macro, I'll push the button here. Okay, what I'm doing right now, I'm waiting for the time to match, okay? And if this delivery is happening like before my macro is getting started, I don't fucking care. Look at that. That's a very beautiful delivery from this breaker, which is coming with this order fair value gap. So unicorn is so powerful, right? Look at that unicorn. Look at the candle's body, how price is respecting this fair value gap, but not by not closing its candle's body below the midway. Okay, so whenever you see things like this, like price is not closing a candle's body below the midway inside of a fair value gap, you should expect to see aggressive delivery. And I made a template about that. If you go on my Twitter, there will be a button like highlights. If you go there, you'll see all my templates and you'll find the templates that I made about breaker block with fair value gap and only the normal fair value gap, like high probability fair value gap. How do you know that a fair value gap will work? Right, there's a lot of fair value gap that you see. So for that to understand, you will have to look at the candle's body, where price is closing its candle's body inside that fair value gap. And what do you see? For the newbies, I'm gonna measure this fair value gap. And mean threshold of this fair value gap is here, the 0.5 level. Do you see it? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. Do you see it? How price didn't close this candle's body below the midway, right? Forget about the wick, folks. Like it's doing the damage, and this setup is looking pretty nice. Okay, I'm still gonna wait. Look at that, relative equal high. So it goes with our model. If you don't know what model I'm talking about, you should watch the video that I made about macro and breaker block part 2, not the part 1. In part 1, I didn't show you the whole freaking model. But in part 2, I told you guys, like, if you see a breaker block forming, you will always see something to target, like an unfilled fair value gap or a equal high or low. What do you see? Equal high. There was a equal low when this breaker block formed, right, at 9:30. So there's always a breaker block, as you guys can see. Very beautiful delivery. Drawn liquidity is above these relative equal highs. And it's 9:40. We still have 10 minutes before our macro gets started, and I'm still waiting. I prefer to wait. Don't be sorry, okay, folks? Like, if you are feeling impulsive to push the button, don't be sorry. It's really hard to like overcome those things, and you should not be like sorry for it. Every one of the fucking trader here, they all felt the same thing. Okay, if someone is talking to like I conquered my impulsiveness and all my feelings in just 1 or 2 months. It never happened, folks. It takes time. It takes a lot of efforts, a lot of prayers, a lot of patience. And after that, you reach here. Okay, a lot of tape reading too. So, yeah, if you are new, just starting your journey, don't expect to see like spotting breaker block like this, because a newbie will not see a breaker block here. What they will see is like this order block, and they will not know before price comes down here. I mentioned this breaker block before price reached all the way down here. Okay, they will wait for this order block to retest, and that's okay, bro. But there's the breaker block, as you know. Why is the breaker block? Lower low. You can consider this low. If you are like afraid to consider this low, as swing low is not visible here, but a swing low is visible here, right? 3-die pattern, 1, 2, 3. Price reached all the way up, generated equal highs, breaker block, fair value gap. And do you guys see the result of patience, right? Suppose I push the button here early. What's gonna be my emotion right here? I'm gonna be talking to myself like, why did I push the button here? Why didn't I wait it? I knew that I should have waited, right? I did so many conversations like this with me, folks. Right? Trust me, I don't want to go back to this time periods. That's the reason why I prefer to wait, because price does something like it. Doesn't matter how clean of a setup it is, you should always follow your rules. If you don't know what you are doing, Okay, you guys saw me taking entries before the macros are getting started, because I have something like high probability setup that I see, and when I see that, I am not afraid to push the button. But this is not it. Okay, this delivery is not it until time is getting matched. So the whole point of me saying is like, I don't want to get those emotions back inside me, the FOMO emotion and like regretting emotions. Why did I did that? I'm not gonna do that. And if I'm pushing the button inside my macro and price is hitting my stop loss, I don't care, okay? Because over the data, I saw that inside the macro, the positions that I made inside the macro is higher win rate, high probability of win rate than the positions that I made outside of the macro. So that's how patience pays. You wait for your setup to present itself with time, and you let the newbies stop loss getting hit. Okay, there's another breaker block that can form right here, or any other setup, or if price is revisiting any of these levels, that can give us an entry. So this breaker block is not valid anymore, but we can use this breaker blocks as reclaimed breaker block if a new breaker block is not forming. We have very clean level right here, a very clean level. Price only reached all the way up to this this premium level. Yeah, this BC from the hourly chart, and then it dropped and generated these really equal highs. Wow, Dow did a very aggressive delivery towards buy side liquidity. You guys saw that? I knew that Dow is gonna be presenting us high probability setup, but anyway. So this push up. Okay, let's talk about this push up. Why this push up happened on Dow and why not on NASDAQ? So I'm gonna be talking about from my perspective. Okay, on NASDAQ, do you guys see like many fair value gaps or imbalances? No, on 5-minute chart, or suppose 3-minute. On 3-minute chart, do you guys see any imbalances here? No. So on NASDAQ, there's no imbalance here. The delivery was aggressive, but price was rebalancing every delivery by like doing back and forth delivery, right? Right here, right? So there's no fair value gap that price generated on NASDAQ, but look at that. Look at on Dow, price left a lot of imbalance. So when you see that, okay, that's a small tip. Like when you see price doing aggressive delivery and in one chart, suppose on Dow, you see a lot of fair value gaps, a lot of imbalances, and on the other chart, you don't see that much of a fair value gap on lower time frame. Okay, I'm talking about the lower time frame. I'm not talking about the higher one. So whenever you see that, expect to see the pair that has a lot of fair value gap to reach all the way up to the discount, possibly the ODE level, optimal trade entry zones, like 61.8. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the OTE here too. Yeah, so 0.62 and 0.79. okay, both of these zones are OTE. We don't execute like retails. Like retail will see a level 0.62 or suppose any other level, and they will execute based on that. We considered both of these levels as OTE, 0.79, 0.62. And what do? Do we just execute once price revisit that? No, we look for the PDRAs that has aligned with the OTE levels, like this fair value gap, also this breaker block, right? That's a very nice breaker. These are the lowest down close candles, and yeah, price reached all the way up, generated fair value gaps. You wanna see like, can you target something if price is retracing lower to the discount? Yes, we can here. We have fair value gap. We have this little fair value gap, right? So we can do that, and that was the tip. Like the pair that is doing aggressive delivery and have a lot of imbalance, expect that pair to reach all the way up to the discount, and the other pair that does not have a lot of imbalances, expect to see that pair reaching to the nearest level of liquidity. Okay, I talked about this BC, why it's the nearest strong liquidity. I hope you guys understood, right? Because this is from the hourly chart, and I think there's an inversion right? I better not forget about it. Yeah, there was an inversion. So this was the nearest draw on liquidity. Price revisited it and then it dropped sharply. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? I'm gonna repeat myself again because I think it's a very nice tip and you guys should consider it. The pair, when price is doing aggressive delivery, the pair that has a lot of imbalances during that aggressive delivery, expect that pair to reach all the way up to the discount, sorry, the premium levels. Again, the pair that has no fair value gap like this, NASDAQ, price basically rebalanced every single delivery here when it was doing it aggressively, right? Expect that pair to draw to the nearest level of liquidity. And on this chart, the nearest level of liquidity was this inversion level. Okay, so I marked it wrong. It should be inversion, not BC. And if you look at your own chart, you will see these things repeating again and again. And again, once again, price respected the mean threshold of this order block. For our order block, we have a BPR, small little BPR. And as I told you guys that a setup can be found inside these two levels. So we are getting close to our macro 950 to 1010, and there's no breaker block that I see. But I do see a BPR, small little BPR. So if price is revisiting this BPR, I will not hesitate to push the button. This BPR. Because BPR is one of the strongest price signature, okay? And it's here. And we have something to target. So now let's wait and see if price is giving us this setup or not, or is it just aggressively delivering towards buy side. BPR. I don't care about dollar. I can trade without looking at dollar. So we are inside of our macro. Now I want to see price revisiting this BPR. And if price is doing that, which is most probably don't, as it's respecting this order block right here. But I still prefer to wait. Right, there's an order block, bullish order block. And if you are an order block trader, you could execute from here, but I prefer to wait and let price do what it's doing. And if it's revisiting this BPR, I will execute. Other than that, I won't. Yeah, that's a nice question to ask. Why am I not using this bigger one and why am I using this smaller one, right, as a BPR? Because that's what the precision is. I can use this one and execute accordingly, but what's gonna be my stop loss? Yeah, I'm talking about the stop loss. Okay, if price is dropping all the way down here and then reversing, that will be a nice entry for me. My stop loss can be small, but here it's not as I want. But if you want to execute based on that, you can do that. But I'm gonna wait for price to reach down here. And from my experience and journaling, I found out that when price generates BPR like this, it likes to tag to the lower one most of the time. And I'm sharing my experience. If you saw like price respecting the bigger fair value gap, then go for it. Nothing is stopping you, right? But I'm gonna still wait for this smaller fair value gap right here to get revisited. I hope that makes sense, Alex, right? Like, this is a question that I think will depend on your experience. The more you see how price delivers from these BPRs, the more you will understand. And what I understood is like price respect in the smaller one mostly. So this is the bigger one, and price came all the way down here, tapped inside of it, and it's just chopping around. Right, 953. Let's still wait. I do see a breaker on Dow, but that breaker is, yeah, this breaker looks really good, which is forming inside of this breaker, 3-minute breaker. So 1-minute chart, and then this down close candle. I'll just gonna put an alert here, and I'd like to see like how price is delivering from this breaker block, this bearish breaker block, and it looks good to me. This breaker, say one breaker here, and there's another one. What can we target if we're executing in this trade? What can be our nearest strong liquidity? The low hanging fruit. Okay, I found it. This inversion, we can target this one. If price is activating this fair value, sorry, breaker block, we can target this level right here. Why? What is so significant about this level? Lower low, new lower low, another breaker block here. So I would like to put my TP here. Okay, so the BPR on NASDAQ is getting revisited again, right? The BPR that I marked, relative equal lows. Let's wait, because they both are providing setups in different opposite direction, and I prefer to wait. If price is clearing out this swing high, then it's good for a reversal, because that's a major swing high. Okay, inside this whole dealing range. So now let's wait and see if price clears out this swing high. If it's doing that, then it's gonna be providing buy side liquidity efficiently, and it will be inefficient towards sell side liquidity. BPR got revisited again. Should I push the button? I think I can. 30, what the hell? Not 30 contract. I'll go for like 5. Yeah. Okay, stop loss. Where can I put my stop loss? Stop loss can be down here, and let's see if price respects our analysis or not. So I think my stop loss is in a reasonable place, and I'm on 1-minute chart. And where is our TP? Our TP is all the way up here. Let's wait and see what price does. It's getting close to my stop loss. Yeah, the stop loss got hit. Really? So this was the trade I executed here, and the stop loss got hit here, and price is delivering towards buy side now. Really, folks? Like, to the ticket, it might hit my stop loss, and now it's reversing. Now this is something looking good. Let's wait for Dow to present itself with something, right? This breaker block, I do see this breaker block on Dow, and this is looking really nice to me on Dow. And yeah, so I was wrong in this analysis. I did saw these equal highs, and I thought like a reversal from this BPR is possible, but it didn't happen. The reversal, price is seeking lower liquidity. I think it will go below these relative equal lows that it generated here, right? So that's something that I didn't saw. I saw these relative equal highs, and I saw price efficiently provided sell side liquidity. But on Dow, it's looking good. It's looking really good. I want to see this relative equal, this high is getting taken out, not price generating another relative equal high. So it doesn't matter to me if this stop loss is getting hit. It doesn't impact my account. So why should I worry? Someone is saying hit, lol. There's nothing to laugh about. It's just one fucking trade. Okay, folks, like, for me to get in loss, I'll have to take like consecutively 4 losses back to back to do that. And I know how to mitigate my losses. If you guys watched me yesterday's stream, I did took 2 losses, right? But was it a loss? I mitigated it with a partial. So I know how to mitigate my losses. And I basically don't care about the loss. So if you are caring inside the chat window, I'm not gonna block you, but yeah, you are a noob. So price is using this BPR to get support to deliver towards sell side liquidity, right? Loss is always gonna be happening, okay, folks? Like, if you cannot adopt and control your mind when the loss is happening, even your high probability setup will fail, just like it did here. It was a very nice setup. Price was like delivered sell side liquidity beautifully, generated relative equal high. So it goes with my model. I had everything to execute on, every confirmation that I need. Price rejected from the mean threshold, and then it got failed. So now you expect me to get emotional and being sad? No, I'm not gonna do that. I overcome those phases. When I was a noob, I used to worry about like one trade. Oh my god, I lost it. Now I should get back to the market again. No. The folks that are laughing, okay, you can laugh, very less that I care, but know that you are a noob. Okay, and you know you won't go that far in this industry. So why should I talk about you? You are just a visitor, right? We'll leave this industry, and I'll be here streaming every fucking day for rest of my fucking life. So we'll see. So that's a swing high, right? And price cleared it out. I cannot drop down to like 30-second chart, otherwise there would have been a breaker block right here, right? So let's wait for this breaker to get activated. Okay, there was a new day opening gap. What, this new day opening gap? Yeah, I didn't saw it, but anyway, I do see this relative equal high. So yeah, I don't need price to revisit this new week opening gap, or new day opening gap, to expect to see a reversal. A reversal can happen from this PPR. It's just that price wanna leave without me, so I'll watch her deliver without me, and let's see how price does it. Beautiful support from this BPR. Let's see if it's remaining aggressive towards buy side liquidity right here. It's not a chop there, folks. What are you guys saying? Look at Dow. Is it chopping around? No, it's just the best you can get. Okay, that's the best it goes. Price action will always be like this, and if you don't know how to navigate here, it doesn't get any better. Okay, like you are expecting to see something like price is continuously generating breaker block and delivering from it. It won't happen. Price will be delivering like this. Okay, it's not a hard price action. This is the usual price action. That's what happens every day, and it's not chopping around. On NASDAQ, it seems like it's chopping, but look at Dow. So I should have like watched Dow when I told you guys that Dow is gonna be presenting good setup. Dow is looking good. I did that thing wrong. I knew that Dow is doing something good, and I just avoided Dow and looked at NQ. Anyway, as you guys saw, it hit my stop loss to the tick, and then it reversed. Like, it's looking really good where price hit my stop loss, right? Here, 15,100. I put it here, 15100 and price just, no, not 15100, at this level. So exactly it hit my stop loss, hit this order block, and then it got reversed, right? So it was respecting this order block rather than this BPR. So our one of the strongest price signature failed, as you can see. So what makes you to think that your unicorn setup will work? It won't work. So a setup is not a holy fucking grail. It's not. Okay, what is a holy grail is how you are managing your losing trade. Learn from it. Okay, very few care about it. Yesterday, if you watched how I managed those losses, I took one loss. Did I fear to execute in my other trade? No. I executed accordingly. I followed my rules. And yesterday, price gave me a partial that mitigated the loss that I took earlier. Right? That's how it works, folks. You will have to be nimble with market, not aggressive, not impulsive. If you feel something like this, like a lot of folks push the button here. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but there should be some rules that will like protect you when you are facing losses, because it's very easy to get impulsive. Trust me, it is. You will know that, okay, I conquered my impulsive feelings. You never conquer your impulsive. It's always there. It will always keep coming back. So that's why there is rules, okay? For me, what my rules is like, give a gap. When you take a loss, at least give like 10 to 15 minutes of gap before taking another trade. Because suppose I push the button here again, and this trade turned out to be a loss. It's a probability game. So suppose this trade turned out to be loss, I will doubt my setup. Okay, that feeling will come back to me, doubt feeling. So I don't want it. That's why I have gaps in between the losing positions, at least minimum for 10 minutes. I wait, and if price is presenting me another clean setup in between 10-15 minutes, I take it. And here I don't see it. So this is the wrong liquidity, this relative equal high, this this hourly inversion. I literally shared it again, like before price did came all the way up here. But anyway, but it's good to study this BPR, okay, folks? Like, look at this BPR. Price went lower, hit this order block, right? That's how I study, okay? If a setup is failing in my face, I study like why it failed. And after that it failed, now that it's providing liquidity towards buy side, why it's respecting, from what levels? Look at that. This BPR, right? Price came back up again, closed the candle's body above this BPR. That makes this BPR activated again. This down close candle dropped inside the BPR, hit the mean threshold of this one, okay, this small fair value gap right here. The mean threshold is right here. Then it got revisited again. Okay, when it was doing that, I told you guys, okay, that's a very good signature and price should remain aggressive. Do you guys heard me saying that? Okay, I saw it, but it wasn't something for me to take. So this breaker never got activated, rather Dow chose to remain aggressive. Right, this delivery was very nice. And this black line that you see on Dow, I think, yeah, it's the relative equal highs. I think it was our yesterday's PM session high. No, it's not from yesterday, but why price revisited here? Okay, because of the relative equal high. Sorry, I forgot. It's visible on hourly chart. It's very much visible on hourly chart. As you can see, higher high, couple of relative equal high, price went lower, cleared out the relative equal lows here, then it reversed. Right? So it's inefficient towards sell side liquidity. So I want to see how price delivers after it clears out these relative equal highs, which it did right now. And we are still inside of our macro 3 minute. Do you guys see any breaker block on Dow on 1 minute chart? So price revisited this BPR again. I'm glad that I didn't push the button here again. Okay, like I whenever I see like my rules are protecting me, I gain so much trust and confidence in following my rules again and again, like this. Like if I suppose I push the button here again, Price would have gave me a partial right here. Like I would have taken a partial right here, right? But it would have hit my stop loss again. So that's the reason I prefer to wait patiently, and that's how I trade. So there's another level that can be our draw on liquidity. I don't see anything on Dow. I don't see a breaker block. I don't see anything to execute from here. I do see a reclaimed order block here, but this is not something that I'm gonna be executing from. So let's wait. Other than this breaker block right here, I don't basically see anything. So a fair value gap is getting hit on Dow. Right, this is the order block, reclaimed order block. So I think I'm gonna be focusing on Dow. Dow is looking good to me. Let's see. Okay, so this reclaimed order block can be a nice entry for me. Is 10, and it's a fair value gap, so I will execute here. Am I late to execute? Wait, I'm still gonna wait and see if price revisit this this reclaimed order block again. And this is gonna be last trade that I'm gonna be pushing the button on my live funds. After that, if this one fails, folks, I'm not gonna be tape reading anymore. 2 max losses, that's what I take in a day. So 2 trades. If I lose 2 trades, I don't care. After that, whatever happens is okay. I still can come back tomorrow. So yeah, done. Entry stop loss will be above here, and TP I think is very much possible for price to revisit this level here. Partial will be below these lows. Partial. Okay, if you don't want to take the risk, just don't push the button with me. Okay, I'm willing to take the risk. If I lose this trade, it means nothing to me, but I know it will mean something to you because you are risking a lot by following me as a signal, which you should not do. So this trade was a reclaimed order block plus a RECL reclaimed order block. So this was a reclaimed order block setup, and I'm willing to take the risk all the way up here. I'm not gonna be push like I'll trail my stop loss once price goes below this low, above this reclaimed order block, but until then I prefer to watch and take the risk. If price is coming all the way up and hitting my stop loss, it's okay. So let's see the ticks, and 22 ticks of stop loss, 65 ticks of profit. Now all we can do is wait. Bro, there's nothing to prove them or me. I'm right or they're wrong. What are you doing, Sanchi? You are blocked. I think I should keep blocking people again, right? So I'll block a lot of you right now. What the fuck are you guys talking about? I don't care if this trade hits my stop loss or hits my TP. And what are you guys doing? You guys are generating emotion inside me, which I don't want inside me. Why? You are here to watch me trade, okay? That's what you are here for. Just watch it. Don't give me advice. Every fucking advice giver, you are blocked, bro. So if price goes below this low, I'll put my stop loss above this order block. Until then, I'm willing to take the risk. And yeah. No, it's okay to disturb me. I can easily push the button block, okay? It's always there. I think it's ban, not block. And we're inside of our silver bullet, right? 10 to 11 o'clock. There's a fair value gap that forms that continues that trend. So I think it will hit my stop loss too. Today is not a lucky day for me, right, guys? Yeah, my stop loss would have been here anyway. So there's two trades that I took and both came out to be a loss. That's the reason you should not be following anyone's signals, okay? That's another reason. Here you go. Everything was there for me to execute on, and price was just aggressively delivering towards buy side liquidity. So this is it for me. Two trades done. Both of these came out loss. I'm not gonna be pushing button in my live funds. Rather, I'll continue to tape read. Okay, so I prefer to tape read. Two setups that I took, both came out to be a loss, and I was risking 0.5% on each of these trades. So two losses, negative 1% for the day, which is nothing. I just need one trade to mitigate all of those losses. Okay, folks? It may not happen today as price is not respecting the levels that I want to see price respecting, like relative equal lows. It's just providing short-term liquidity and then it moving towards the buy side, okay? Like these relative equal lows, I like to see like these levels are getting taken out, which is not happening here. So I'm just going to be continuing to tape read. This black line, how NASDAQ is looking. Did you guys found a setup on NASDAQ? Okay, I think there was no setup on NQ, right? So there was no setup on NQ. This delivery was really aggressive. Right from this, after price provided short-term liquidity, that's what it's doing throughout the whole chart. It's providing short-term liquidity, then it's moving towards the sell side, like the opposite direction. It's not providing the the strong level of liquidity like we had here, which I like to target. These kind of levels, I want to see like these kind of levels getting taken out, and that's how I trade. If you don't like that, it's okay, but that's how I make money. I like to see these levels are getting taken out. And from my point of view, I wanted to see these relative equal highs are getting taken out. Okay, but it didn't happen. Anyway, today was a day like I'm not lucky at all. Right, there was no luck that is favoring me today. Anyway, So Dow doing nothing. I do see this breaker block here. It's like a trap everywhere today, so I'm just gonna continue tape reading rather than forcing any other trade idea. I'm just gonna go back to my rules that I made for me, like 2 trades. If you lose both of the trades, stop for that day and just tape read, okay? I know I will feel emotional, but it's okay. It's there. Emotion is always there. It's not something like you can hide it or you can like avoid it. It's always there. You need to know how to control it. I'm controlling it. I'm gonna do it by tape reading. So this is a breaker block that I see. I don't see drawn liquidity towards buy side liquidity. Why? I only see this volume imbalance from the daily chart in the buy side liquidity on Dow. This is the only level that I think price can revisit if it's delivering aggressively. This small little volume imbalance, okay, it's very much possible for price to revisit if it's doing aggressive delivery towards buy side. This is the only drawn liquidity that I see on daily chart on Dow. Other than that, if I drop down to like 1 hour, I don't see anything. There's a fair value gap, so I'm not gonna consider it. I want to see this fair value gap getting filled and price revisiting this volume imbalance. Folks always want to see wins, okay? That's not what happens. Everyone loses. Everyone like fears to show their losses. I don't, because over time I know these 2 losses can be mitigated by one fucking trade, one single trade. Okay, folks, that's it. That's what it takes. It's nothing if I lose 4 consecutive trades. It will mean nothing to me. Okay, yeah, I will get sad that price didn't respect my analysis, but to be honest, it doesn't affect my account, so why should I be worried about that, right? And losses, that's the main thing. Like, everyone talks about win, no one talks about loss, and every newbie out there thinks like it's always win, where nothing can provide you 100% win. It doesn't happen, folks. There will be bad days, a lot of bad days. Like yesterday, it was a bad day for me. I lost 2 trades. Today, it was another bad day for me. Like 2 trades, but yesterday I was able to mitigate my losses, so I'm basically like in 2 trades, in 2 losing positions. But that's it, folks. 1 trade, I'm back in profit again. 1 profitable trade, and I'm not gonna do that today, okay? You should stop if you are taking like couple of losses. For me, the boundary is 2 losses. After I face 2 fucking losses, I stop, because my mind, it wanna control me, okay? By pushing the button continuously, impulsively, revenge trading. It is very easy for me to get emotional and push button, like doing revenge trades and all that stuff. And I did that, folks. Like everyone did that. I believe like I don't have those feelings. Like I know how to control it. It's always there, but I know how to control it by sitting in front of the chart. And if it's too high, then I just close my chart. But over the time that I did that, I control my feelings. It's getting less and less every day, okay? Like if I take a loss, it doesn't affect me like it used to be. So that's what you should do, okay? From me, that's gonna be a very important advice. I always tell you guys not to take my trades, okay? Because it doesn't affect me. The second thing that I always focus on is the narrative. The third thing, that's the risk management. How you are controlling yourself when you are losing. How you are controlling yourself when you are winning. And when you are losing like this, like 2 setups, 4 setups, a lot of fucking traders, newbie traders are gonna be here. They're gonna be doubting, okay, like this breaker block doesn't work. You don't know how to trade. And they only saw me executing 2-3 trades that turned out to be a loss. There are many other trades that over the time I had winners in these live streams, okay? So that's what it is. You should have a journal that counts like how many losses you are taking, how many winners are you are taking. So over the time, I found that my breaker block wins over the time, over a certain period of trades, it will turn me out to be a winner, right? So yeah, that's a very important thing, folks. Like, you should know how to handle your loss emotionally. You are handling your loss, your stop loss is getting hit, but emotionally how you are feeling it or not, you should not feel it. You should not care about your losses. It will happen, okay, folks? Like, I see a lot of you are getting emotional here, which you should not, okay, folks? Like, I see you and I see a newbie trader inside you. You are not a pro. You are not here trading for like 1 year, even 1 year. You are just here. You are new. So yeah, you want to doubt someone, do it. If you doubt me, I don't care. Just like, don't type it here. If you do that, like, you will get blocked. So that's a warning, small little warning. Yes, everything is chopping, right? Range bound, delivering aggressively. Is there any news at 10 o'clock? Is there was any news at 10 o'clock? Pending home sales, and that caused this aggressive delivery, really? And that's a medium impact news. Anyway, I think there's nothing to watch for me anymore. Like, the levels that I wanted to like see revisited, it already did. Price revisited the mean threshold. That's what I wanted to see. Then I wanted to see these equal highs are getting tagged, but it still remains my point of interest, as it is very much possible for price to revisit this area at noon. Okay, like at lunch, market can reverse inside our 11 I think 1150 to 1210. Yeah, inside that macro. Let's see what happens. 1050 to 1110. I'll tape read until 1050 to 1110, and I would like to watch like how price delivers and what price does inside that macro, if it's hitting this clearing this relative equal highs out or not. So I'll be here till then, till 1120, I guess 1130. So this BC, okay, so let's talk about our chart. This was an old BC that price respected, and I marked it here. This BC is from hourly chart, right? This was a level that I was watching at 930 for price reversal. Price respected it at 930. Then I think if it's a little bit down, a little bit deeper, that will make sense, right? It just tapped in this fair value gap. That's the rejection block that price respecting right here. Our rejection block is right here. So that's the rejection block. I'm just gonna mark it. Let's see if price revisits this rejection block or not. So do you guys know what a rejection block is? If you don't know, just search on YouTube rejection block and you will find it. It's in the core content of ICT. It's basically a candle's wick, like when price generates relative equal lows or when price gets support from only the wick. ICT mentions it as a rejection block, like price is rejecting from it, okay? So Dow here on 5 minutes. Okay, on 5 minute and 3 minute chart. So price is respecting this rejection block. I'm not gonna force any trade idea, rather I'm gonna be opening myself in tape reading. Okay, so I'm not gonna, what I'm gonna do is, like, without pushing the button, I will outline the setup in front of you, okay? And if that setup works, it works. So the rejection block here. One minute chart. I wanna see price going below these lows, okay, folks? Like on 1 minute chart, I do see these relative equal lows. And then a small little fair value gap here. So let's see from where price wanna get support. If you wanna take out these relative equal lows and then get support, we can execute. Like, we can look for a setup from this reclaimed order block. Once price clears out the liquidity levels, and suppose it's only doing that and not revisiting this fair value gap, then from where we can execute, like from where can we look for a setup, not execute, as we are tape reading from this reclaimed order block. It's not a reclaimed order block yet. I'm expecting to see it working as a reclaimed order block in future and providing support towards the buy side liquidity. So I'm just gonna mark it as a reclaimed order block incoming. And this order block can provide support for price towards sell side liquidity too. Okay, it can work as a bearish order block, a reclaimed order block. But I want to see like what happens inside this small little fair value gap. We are still inside of our silver bullet zone. Okay, so that's what I'm watching. Price cleared out the relative equal lows, and I want to see how price reacts. If price reaches all the way down here or not in this fair value gap. If price is closing its candle's body before tapping inside here, suppose this candle is going above this candle right here, then I'll have a setup. Okay, I would like to see the second candle that opens after price closes this candle's body above here. Okay, I'm telling you the scenarios that can happen possibly. So I'm favoring a revisit of this fair value gap, but suppose price didn't did that. Price went up, closed the candle's body above this reclaimed order block. That's when this reclaimed order block will get activated. Nice, looking good. So let's see if price revisits this fair value gap here. A lot of relative equal highs are resting here, folks. So I'm not bearish until price takes it out. I may be wrong, and price only want to deliver to our sell side liquidity today. But to me, I want to see these levels taken out or getting taken out. Okay, these are really too clean for me to be bearish in these scenarios. I'm not, and seems like price didn't respect it. It's okay. If price is hitting this rejection block again and rejecting, getting support from it, or suppose from this level, we can use this failed fair value gap as an inversion to look for a setup. Okay, so a setup is always there. It doesn't matter from where price is revisiting or this BC. Let's see if this price is respecting this BC and getting rejected again. So price hit the rejection block again. So now I'm gonna wait for this candle to go above this level here, this failed fair value gap. I wanna see the second candle open above it. Okay, so the trade idea here, I'm not pushing the button, I'm tape reading. Okay folks, so the trade idea will be something like this. Stop loss below these lows. Okay, once price closes the candle's body above it. So I'll talk about the setup once price does that. It's not closing its candle's body above it. Okay, just using it as to get as a resistance to our sell side liquidity. Dow looking nasty. You guys are watching Dow? So price is coming back to it. Okay, so we got our confirmation. I want to see this candle close above the inversion. Okay, so this was the trade idea. Let me talk about it. So this was it. Stop loss could have been below these lows and easy target like 2R from this inversion. I want to see this candle closing above this inversion, not coming below it. Okay, if it's coming below it, this trade idea is invalid. It's okay as long as it's closing its body above this inversion. This inversion valid as long as price is closing its body above it. Okay, there's also a setup that I see on Dow. Let me talk about the setup a little bit before it forms, okay? Because if it's forming and I'm talking about it's a hindsight analysis, and that's what I don't like. Higher high, okay? So that's what I'm watching. We are getting close to 1050 macro. So this is something interesting for me to watch. This high, I want to see price clearing this high out, going above it. If it does that, okay, price already reached to a premium level, right? And it generated a lot of relative equal lows. And 1050 to 1110 tends to be a reversal macro, and it's here. The setup is here. This is the breaker block. It's a negative breaker. Okay, so that's what I'm interested in watching. I'm just gonna put an alert and watch it in my next monitor, and I'm gonna tape read this setup. Here it's a partial, okay? Once price reached here, all the way up here, went above this reclaimed order block, it's a partial. And we can pyramid in our entry once price goes above this reclaimed order block again. So a revisit of this fair value gap is okay, but I'm not expecting to see price going below this inversion, sorry, this fair value gap. I'll trail my stop loss and put it below the inversion like this, and put my TP a little bit higher. Oh, I think a revisit of above this candle's body is possible. Okay, so on Dow, okay folks, like look at Dow, how Dow is behaving. Dow generated a mitigation block. This is not a breaker block, so don't confuse it with a breaker block. Now that I marked, it's not a breaker block yet because there's no stop hunt, right? Did price went above the swing high here? No, it didn't. So it's not a breaker, so don't confuse it with a breaker. Whenever you see a failed swing high like this, it's a mitigation block. These down close candles are working as a mitigation block. Okay, it's not a breaker yet. We still need a stop hunt for a valid breaker. So the perspective, if I put it in a visual presentation, it will be something like this, this, and this, like this. This is what I'm expecting to see. And NQ. Okay, so I told you guys this is our last line of defense, this fair value gap, and price is allowed to revisit this one too, but not below it. So I'm gonna put my stop loss right here, and Dow is crossing our mitigation block. Okay, so there's no risk in this tape reading setup. It's not an actual setup that I took, rather I'm tape reading this one. So one partial right here, right? And this is our last line of defense, this fair value gap. This one should hold. If it's not holding, price is bearish, it will hunt relative equal lows down here. Okay folks, so I'm watching this fair value gap and it's providing a good level of support. And Dow Dow, And Dow is still like, it's not a clean setup, it's a mitigation block setup, so I'm not gonna be tape reading it. I wanted to see a breaker forming, like price going above, clearing out the swing highs, and this mitigation is activated, this mitigation block, so I'm just gonna mark it as a mitigation block. That's how you can execute on a mitigation block. Okay, if price is retracing back to this mitigation block, now that it's closed, you can just body below it, you can execute on it. If you are not like facing two losses, you can easily execute here. Forget about this relative equal highs. Price will not price don't need to revisit here. Okay, it generated mitigation block, closing candle body below the mitigation block. Now we wait for the next candle to open, reach all the way up, just as I teach you on breaker block. Okay, the same thing, you want to see the same thing happening in this mitigation block. Our target, easy target, low hanging fruit is these lows down here, but I think price will go even lower than this. So this is something to watch and tape read. Stop loss can be like this. Any retracement back here is entry to our target. Easy, low hanging fruit. NASDAQ. So our last line of defense worked, right? Do you guys see like the power of tape reading? Yeah, you can tell me like, HYDRA, you are not making any money by tape reading, but I'm gaining experience, right? I'm able to call market better than you in specific levels. And how am I doing that? By tape reading, by getting out of the zone that always thinks about money and losses. After you face like two losses, people think you are a loser. That's the funniest thing on internet, okay? Like internet is crazy, bro. Like people don't know what they're doing, and like they're just coming here and talking about other people. Don't they have a life of their own? Like if I suppose anyone is like live streaming, it doesn't bother me if they're losing money or not. It's not me who's trading, right? So why should I care about someone else's stream? If I find something insightful, then I should watch it. If not, then just leave, right? Things are not easy like this. So it didn't give us a chance to enter like imaginary entry as we are tape reading, but still it's very much possible. Price is reacting from these order blocks, and we are slowly getting inside of our macro. So that's something also to tape read the time. I'll put the NQ 1 minute chart here so that we can watch both of these charts. So now I'll put my stop loss in this setup. Okay, I don't have a risk in this setup, it's just running without the risk as I mitigated my stop loss, trail my stop loss. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my stop loss below this swing low right now. I don't want to see price revisiting this swing low. If it's doing that, it's a bearish breaker that price is respecting. Okay, that's a breaker block. Higher high, new higher high, they reach to the premium level. So I'm not open to taking any risk. It should not revisit this level again, because if it's doing that at the same time, it's activating a breaker block. Okay, higher high, new higher high, and this high follows our logic. It hit the premium PDRA, right? And then this breaker block down here. So if price is activating this breaker block, if price is closing a candle body below this breaker block, price will easily go below and hunt the liquidity right here, because there's the sell side liquidity. As long as price is not doing that, as you can see, it didn't close the candle body below this down close candle, and my stop loss is respected, we can expect to see price deliver aggressively, right? So I can put my TP now at the consequent encroachment here, or above the swing high here, as we have these relative equal highs are standing like very tall here, and I don't like these levels. How is Dow doing? I have both 1 minute chart right next to each other. Yeah, so Dow choose to deliver aggressively without retracing back to the mitigation block again. I was expecting to see a retracement back to this mitigation from these order blocks, from these bullish order blocks, but I think it will fail as we have very strong level of targets like these really big lows. But if it's reaching there, okay folks, like inside our macro 1050 to 1110, that's a very interesting price. That will be a very interesting price action to tape read. Going quite opposite on what? Baljit Thakur. Yeah, it's a low probability condition, like they are delivering same together and then they're moving opposite to each other. So yeah, it's a low probability market condition, and that's what I failed to like understand when I started the stream. I thought like it's a high probability condition today, and I was looking at chart these relative equal highs, and I thought like price will clear these levels out, but it chose not to. So this breaker block is still remaining here, okay? And yeah, this breaker block got activated, our stop loss got hit, so no risk here. We took an imaginary partial, and now that this breaker got activated, these lows are our target, okay? I told you guys that if price is closing its body below this down close candle, this is the low hanging fruit. Breaker 14, okay. And Dow is doing the same thing, like delivering towards sell side liquidity. That's a very low probability condition, folks. Like that's a zone, like this kind of price action I avoid it. I avoid trading it. Why? This green shaded box that you see, that's a rejection block. So what does it mean? Price is continuously generating relative equal lows on a higher time frame, sorry, on lower time frame, right? This is our rejection block right here, and price was just continuously respecting it until now. So now it went down, cleared out the sell side liquidity down here, hit the BC, right? So let's see if it reverses or not. And Dow meet our drawn liquidity. This was our low drawn liquidity, right? But even though in this setup it didn't give us a chance to enter, it didn't retrace back in the mitigation block again, right? So there was no entry for me, otherwise just to watch. And I watched it, it delivered beautifully below these lows as I expected. And NQ, let's see if NQ reverses from here, from this BC, as we have a lot of relative equal highs here, and we are getting close to our next macro, which is at 1050 to 1110. This is a hard price action for a newbie to trade on, okay? Even for me, like price is respecting quite a lot the rejection blocks, and I'm not a rejection block trader. Look at that. This is our rejection block, right? Price came all the way up, and we expect to see price clearing this level out as it's a relative equal high, right? Once it reaches back to the discount level, that's a premium level. We expect to see price reaching, dropping down to the discount, and then moving towards it, clearing these levels out. Okay, that's what the narrative is. But here it's not respecting it today. What price is respecting is only the rejection blocks. Look at that. Even on higher time frame, it's rejecting from. It's going all the way down, going below a candle's body, hitting the wick, and then it's rejecting from the candle's wick. So this is our BC from the 50-minute chart, I guess, or hourly. Yeah, from hourly chart, and it's looking good. Let's see if a breaker block forms inside this BC. That's a higher time frame PD array. So my high probability breaker block setup forms inside of a higher time frame PD array. So let's see if it forms here. We are getting close to our second macro, and this is gonna be the last one that I'm gonna be tape reading with you all. So 10:50 to 11:10. Let's watch together. That's a BPR on hourly on NQ. Is it a BPR? It's not a BPR. Just a normal fair value gap. If you are considering this one, like this level right here, price didn't reach to this one. Rather, it's respecting this fair value gap right here. It's not respecting this one, okay? So not everything that you see is a BPR. A BPR will have to be clear, and it's not here. So I'm only considering this fair value gap. This BC, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, and price showed quite a nice rejection from here. So I want to see a breaker block forming here. If it does that, then I'll tape read. Other than that, I'll just watch. HYDRA on Dow, there's a CB before price doing mitigation block. Why you not see as a high probability setup? Which one? On Dow, which fair value gap are you talking about? This one? Yeah, you can do that if you're following like ICT 2022 mentorship. That's a model. Lower low, market structure shift, right? Return back to the fair value gap. So yeah, if you are like following ICT 2002 mentorship, then that's an entry for you here. But for me, I was looking for a breaker block setup, okay? I wasn't looking for this inversion. Or okay, it's a BPR, I guess. Yeah, it's a BPR. So I wasn't looking at this. I was expecting to see price going above this candle's high and forming a breaker block before dropping. And it didn't took out this high, otherwise I would have like mentioned this trade here. Okay, so it depends on you how you want to see your chart. There's a 2022 mentorship model, there's a BPR model, okay, there's just a normal fair value gap model, then there's a rejection block model, then there's a mitigation block model. So there's a lot of stuff. I only like to focus on one or two model, like breaker block, inversion. If I see it in my chart, I'll execute on it. Other than that, I am not interested in any other model. So let's see if a breaker forms here. Price did cleared out these relative equal lows down here, right? And we are inside of our macro, the last macro that I'm gonna be tape reading, 10:50 to 11:10, and price chose to deliver from this fair value gap. What? No. So our drawn liquidity, okay, I forgot to talk about the drawn liquidity, is above this high. This is where our internal buy side liquidity is resting. Why is it an internal buy side liquidity? Because it's inside of this dealing range. So breaker didn't form here, right? There's nothing for me to mention anymore other than this fair value gap that we see. Price is respecting this fair value gap after it cleared out liquidity levels right here. From this hourly fair value gap. So another equal high right here. So that's a sign that price will come back to this level again. So the now question is where price can reach. Okay, if it's going below this order block right here, our last line of defense to expect higher prices will be this BC. Okay, if price is not respecting this BC, I guess we'll see a breaker block forming. So the tape reading trade idea will be something like this. Stop loss below this fair value gap and target like this. Okay, like stop loss right here. And if price revisits this fair value gap, which seems like it's not, you are welcome. Do you guys see the delivery today that price is doing is in a high resistance liquidity run on NQ, and it's a low resistance liquidity run on Dow, right? So I guess it takes us back to the six sister concept, right? Six sister. So this is the order block that price is respecting. I wanted to see price reaching down here and then moving towards the buy side liquidity, which didn't happen. Price cleared out the sell side liquidity right here, hit the premium PDRA, hit the discount PDRA from the higher time frame, this hourly fair value gap. Then it just completely reversed, generated fair value gap, continuing the trend. Okay, so I want to see if price clears out this relative equal high or not, or just like reaching all the way up again and respecting the rejection block and not clearing out the relative equal highs here. That's what I want to see. What price is doing. You are welcome, David. No, I don't have a fixed lot that I execute on. I measure every risk in every single trade, and I use a software name like position size calculator. I execute on MT5, MetaTrader 5. So there's an indicator that I guess you can find online. It goes by position size calculator. Okay, so that tells me exactly how much lot I'm gonna be using based on my risk parameter. So yeah, that's what I use. That indicator is very useful. So you can do that if you are trading on MT5 4 or MT5. That indicator is called position size calculator. So do you guys see I mentioned something about the market reversal macro? So the market reversal macro is usually 1050 to 1110. Okay, that's the time period market likes to reverse in its trend. Okay, I mentioned it before this move happened, so if you listen carefully, I guess you heard me saying that. And at 1050, what do you see? Right, price hit this premium PD area, sorry, discount PD area, and inside our time period the market reversal macro 1050 to 1110. At 1051 it hit this fair value gap and then it's moving towards the buy side liquidity right now. So if you are like into macros like me, you should know that 1050 to 1110 is the market reversal macro. It works and it works beautifully when price is delivering aggressively to on one side, okay, in AM session like it did here today. Do you guys see that the liquidity is resting above here, okay, above this rejection block? So I want to see this rejection block getting failed because of the relative equal highs that you can see on 3-minute chart. 15087 be above this level. Okay, there's a lot of buy side liquidity. So let's see what price does. It generated again relative equal high, so that's a signature from price that it wanna come back to this level again. This is what I'm talking about, these relative equal highs. So it seems like price is going to be respecting this rejection block again, right? So this will be it for today, folks, from my side. You saw me outlining a couple of setups, right? At 9:30, you saw me calling the delivery and price respected it. After that, it wasn't that good, right? I lost 2 trades and you saw me how I managed that trade and how my emotion was after I lost 2 trades. Okay, you focused on that. If you focused on that, I hope you found something to learn and to adopt from. Okay, so I hope that you guys are not going to be forcing any trade idea today. It's not looking good. It's just respecting the rejection block, the relative equal high and lows. It's not clearing that out. And me personally, the way I teach, I like to see these levels are getting taken out, which is not happening today. And yeah, that will be it for my side. I hope you a very nice weekend and peace. See you guys on Monday.